in our group that does wheels, but we are still committed to tires. We're doing some of the neatest, coolest stuff that is history making, that makes your cars go round. Now, there is this particular tire is a brand new mold that was designed specifically for our good friends at the Henry Ford Museum. This is Christian Overland. I'd like for him to say a few words in just a moment, but this particular tire, along with its matching front runner 92015, was designed for the 1965 Lotus that Jim Clark won with at Indianapolis 500 in 1965. It was the first rear-engine Indianapolis race car. He absolutely took the field, and it is on display on top of the last container in the Ford booth. You can see that car. The tires on that car were hand-lettered in gold by Corky himself. This is the 1215 Firestone Indy Racing, a compound. Al Unser Sr. drove this car on this tire at the Indianapolis 500 in May. And I'd like to introduce Christian Overland, the Executive Vice President of the Henry Ford, to tell you just a little bit about the car, about the Henry Ford, and about how pleased they are to have this special car back on the original shoes that it won Indy with in 1965.
Thank you,
Christian Overland of the Henry Ford Museum.
Thank you, Corky. We're very pleased to partner with Corky with this tire. I'll tell you what, Corky's so right on about the history of this car. The 1965 Lotus was a huge innovation, and the reason why is Dan Gurney brought together Colin Chapman of Lotus and the engineers of Ford Motor Company to really create something special. One car, one driver, one team to actually do it, win the Indy 500. First rear engine to do it, the 500. So what it was is they did the specially designed Ford V8 engine. They also contacted Firestone to do a design for the car too. So this perfect package that was put together to win just one race. They didn't race the car ever again, and there's really a cool story about that. They deposited in the museum. So we started doing research on the car, 30 years later, trying to figure things out. We figured out it had the original oil from race day in there. It had the original plugs, had all the cables, everything was just spot on. They turned it off and put it inside the museum. So when we started looking at how to conserve the car for future generations, because it's the most original Indy winner ever, we started to look for who are our partners to do that. We called up Corky, and he was very interested in it because the tires didn't make it, right? The tires didn't exist, and they went away. So he worked with Firestone, and they re-engineered the tires back the way they were in '65. They looked at the drawings, they built the molds again, and what's really special about that is it's not just the cap of a tire, it's the whole thing. So we're proud to continue to tell that story. And I can tell you, if it wasn't for Corky and his company, we would not be able to stand here today and to do it and to say that's the most original Indy 500 winner in the entire world. And to be able to tell that story of innovation to all the school kids across the world, to people who are interested, enthusiasts, and that's what's going on. So really a proud day to do this. And by the way, he did a couple extra sets. So not just do we have the tires on that, but we'll run the car a couple of times in the future too. We're not going to run it too often because it's so original. It debuted at Goodwood last year, and as Corky said, Al Unser Sr. drove it during the Centennial, right before the Centennial race, to hundreds of thousands of people. So we might take it out again, and when we do, it's going to be on the Corky tires. So one set for a display, one set for a runner, and another set that goes into cold storage. This is how committed we are to what he did. We're putting a set in 40-degree cold storage that'll last hopefully another 100 years, keeping it cold.
No, he doesn't have to worry. I'll make more. I'll make more.
But we're very thankful for Corky and the company to do that. It's really their commitment towards racing innovation. And like you said, for a company to step up and do that, create it as they did as a gift, for future generations, that talks about what commitment they have to our sport. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian.